Fort McHenry, written in 1814 by Francis Scott Key. He wrote this poem after he saw the Battle of Fort McHenry from a ship in the harbor during the War of 1812. The poem was set to a popular British song written by John Stafford Smith. It became the national anthem of the United States in 1931 when President Herbert Hoover was in office. Please rise for the national anthem. The composer writes, "This may quite possibly be the most ironic piece that I have ever written in my life. It began when the music program received a grant to commission a new work. The work was to be the highlight of the year for the students, but just before starting the piece, I received notice from the band director that the district had to cut the budget. The grant itself was not affected, but one of the mandated cuts was the band program, grades 5 through 8. So I began the process of writing a world premiere for a band that will no longer exist after its performance. Even more ironic was that it was written as the final piece for their concert. It would now be the last work the band would ever play. The title, Colliding Visions, focuses on the important issues facing the arts everywhere. I received the following words from Rick Police, the band director who commissioned the work. We were quite surprised that everything went down the way it did. Everything happened so fast, and it seemed like all the conditions created the perfect storm. We are not alone either. Many districts are cutting programs and losing teachers. I know what you mean about the irony of the situation. I had no idea this would play out like this when I first received the grant. I assumed we would experience some belt tightening, but never thought total elimination would happen. I'm also okay with the subject matter tying into what is going on. There is a lot of frustration and conflict in what once was a very unified staff, but at the same time, glimmers of optimism as some of us considered impossibilities. This piece serves as an important reminder that we must all share our passion for music with others. When people look to cut funds, we should state with a firm and unified voice that it should not be from the arts. The arts are crucial to our culture and to our own well-being. of a misty morning with the hope and promise of a new day. Listen for the colorful melodies with beautiful harmonies and this impressionistic lyrical performance. Sit back and enjoy this beautiful piece. Ever thought about the music playing from your favorite movie, TV show, or video game? I'm sure that you have all done listening to music from the famous movie, Harry Potter, which music was written by one of the most famous movie music composers of all time, John Williams. He also wrote music for famous movies like Star Wars, Jaws, and Peter Pan. The music is very descriptive of Harry's life on music. There are two movements for pieces to this music. The first one is Edward Singing, and the second is Harry Potter. We will stop in between these two, but please don't clap between the first and the second pieces. We know we will stop to turn our page. If you close your eyes, you might even picture yourself on an adventure with Harry Potter himself. required by the naval standards. Shadow fighters intended to make you imagine knights, wizards, dragons, and castles. The work takes a great deal of its style from movie and video games. You can imagine an epic battle where shadows dance in the light of a blazing fire as swords clash and warriors shout. Let your imagination run wild.
I hope you enjoyed the first portion of our concert. The students that you saw here were mostly fifth graders who've been playing for 2 years now, but we had some very hardworking fourth graders who also joined the advanced band because they did such a good job this year. They needed a little bit harder music and a little more of a challenge. So they did a fabulous job. They're going to go off, and then we're going to bring the beginning band out. And they, if you remember, at the beginning of the year, they didn't even know how to put their instruments together. And now they are actually, you might not tell the difference between the fourth grade band and the fifth grade band or the beginning and advanced band, because the beginning band's been working very hard too, and they have some very exciting music for you. So stay tuned. We'll be right back in 2 minutes. Here is Carter to tell you all about our first song.
Wings to the Mind by Brian Foundation. Music is a moral law. It gives soul to the universe. Wings to the mind, light to the imagination, and charm from life to everything. This is a quote by the great philosopher Plato. This quote was under Eno's signature when a band director, Eno, the composer, Mr. Foundation, about a writing piece of music for his band months before the COVID pandemic began. He read that quote many times in the past, but reading it again in the middle of the pandemic was quite different. In a time when so many things were shut down, people looked to music as a source of comfort, inspiration, and stability. Artists shared music from their homes, giving others a glimpse into their creative worlds. Many musicians created incredible music in virtual places, collaborating in new ways. This provided an amazing emotional boost at a time so many people needed one. A true reminder that music is really the soul of the universe and the charm and life to everything. Music provides wings to the mind, allowing us to venture anywhere we can imagine. It is in this spirit that we can fanfare style work with working. Tadpoles, a prologue to Frogs by Randall D. Stanridge. A few years back, the composer Mr. Stanridge wrote a young band work entitled Frogs. If one of your older children or siblings went to band camp a few summers back, you may remember them playing it. It was a quirky, humorous, fun piece to play. To this day, the composer would still put it in one of his personal top 5 favorite things he's ever written. While working on some music one day, Mr. Stanridge noticed that a single-eighth notes, or TTs as we call them, with their round heads, long stems, and single tail, looked kind of like a tadpole. This made him think back to his piece called Frogs, and then he thought, well, tadpoles would be before frogs, so they would have to learn to jump. And boom, the idea hit him in less than 24 hours. He wrote Tadpoles. Tadpoles begins with the baby frogs trying out their new legs as they leap for the first time. If you listen carefully, you can hear them all jumping and leaping. The piece becomes a joyous celebration of growth and maturity as these little tadpoles work themselves into froggy final finale. Listen to the slide whistle played by Vivian Vera and the flexitone played by Delaney Potato during the fun glissando slide with the trombone section.
And we have a special instrument just for this piece, since it's about tadpoles becoming frogs. We have a frog guiro. It's a piece of wood that was is carved out to look like a frog, and Morgan's going to demonstrate it for you. So you can look for that back there. Sounds like a little rivet maybe. And when we got him, this is the first time we've used that frog, and Liana in our percussion section has named him Jeffrey. So someday, 3, 4, 5 years from now, if you're in the band and you get to play the frog Zero, just remember his name is Jeffrey.
This is one of our favorite songs on the concert, and we have worked hard on it. We hope you enjoy. The title of this work tells you everything about the music. The idea of something being so powerful that it's hard to control, unpredictable, aggressive, and fast-moving, and unstable. All those thoughts are explored throughout as powerful percussion elements combined with dissonant notes in the wind. Toward the end of this work, we will crumple plastic grocery bags to mimic the sound of actual firecrackers. As we play this piece, we think about many wildfires that happen each year, and most recently in California and right here in Berlin. We appreciate and thank all first responders who fight these wildfires on the front lines every day. We dedicate our hard work to this music to those who have lost their homes, lives, and everything they hold dear to them to the destruction of fires each year. We also dedicate this piece to the first responders that run towards the fire to help save lives. Thank you.
by our plastic bags. That's a nice little surprise in that one. Before we play our last song, I wanted to just give a few reminders. We have the Joseph and Anthony Manzi Foundation Band Camp this summer, and it's running from June 23rd to July 3rd. It is so fun. It's all the best parts of the school day for me. Snack, recess, big band like this, and small lesson groups. Half days, and it runs for about 9 days at the end of June and beginning of July. It is really fun, and it's a great way for kids to meet other friends from Hubbard and Willard, and from McGee. They get to play together, and then they have an older group with students from the high school, and the students from the high school are mentors and help teach the lessons. So it's a lot of fun and a great way to keep their skills up over the summer. Those of you who are renting instruments, parents, don't return the instruments. They have a summer challenge to do for me. So I want to keep that. They've done such hard work, and if they don't play over the summer, all of what you hear right now, a lot of it will be lost if they don't play over the summer, just like we want them to do some reading and some math over the summer to keep their brains fresh. If you're interested in that Joseph Anthony Manzi Band Camp Foundation, that is for our 4th and 5th graders that are playing up here who have already played an instrument, so everyone in this concert is eligible to go. There's flyers at the door. For you 3rd graders going into 4th grade who have chosen your instruments, make sure to get signed up for band. Parents, make sure that you get them signed up for band on the internet, on our school website, or the papers that have gone home or emails that have gone home. Those of you who are in 3rd grade going into 4th grade, we have a special beginning band camp at the end of August for 3 mornings, which is a great head start. In my dream world, everybody goes to band camp for those 3 days because it would give us almost a 3-month head start. No worries if you can't go, not a big deal. We will get you started in the fall when you get back. So many thank yous. This concert is not possible without the support of many people in this building. First of all, the 4th and 5th grade teachers who are always in the classrooms reminding kids to go to lessons at lesson times and always willing to let me steal them and helping to keep everything going behind the scenes. Thank you, 4th and 5th grade teachers. I appreciate you. Mr. Campbell and Mrs. Quinn, our leaders here at school, our principal and dean of students, they are always very supportive and helpful of our music program. Mrs. Riley Kazina, who is our other music teacher here at Griswold School, who supports me behind the scenes. And a lot of the skills that these children are demonstrating today are directly related to the skills they've been learning in music class from kindergarten all the way up through 4th and 5th grade. So thank you to her. Mr. Benigni, our superintendent of schools, thank you for all of your support whenever we need something for the music and arts programs. He is always right there supporting us and giving us whatever we need. Thank you to Mr. Tyler Boyle, our K-12 Fine Arts Supervisor, for his support, always keeping us music teachers in line and art teachers too. To the parents, to you parents in the audience and grandparents, who have been helping with remembering instruments for lesson days, who have been listening to the squeaks and honks at the beginning of the year thinking that this might not be possible. They've come so far, and it's also because you've been reminding them and helping them at home and encouraging them. Thank you for your support at home. Mrs. Whittles and Mrs. Zuck, who are in our office staff, always answering questions. Hi, is there a band today? Hi, is there early band today? They're always helping me behind the scenes. Someone I left off the program, Mrs. Orzel is one of our support staff here. She did all the programs for me, copied them, and folded them, not once, but twice, because I messed them up the first time. And I was like, please don't hate me. So she actually folded all those programs 2 times. So thank you to her. I appreciate your help always making the photocopies for the band and helping out all the time. Mr. Nick Smith and his staff for recording our concerts today. We appreciate you, and taking some beautiful photographs as well. We appreciate you. Miss Emily Ball, our IT staff, for setting up all of our microphones and such, always helping behind the scenes. Mr. McCabe and his whole staff, the custodians, will have to break all of this down and then set up for lunch, and then break all of that down, and then set up for the concert tonight. So thank you for all of your hard work behind the scenes. Ms. Gemmel, I can't do this without some of the teachers and adults in our group who have come to help us out. Sometimes they're filling in, sometimes they're just playing, because music is something that you can do for your whole whole life. It's not just something you do at school and then you quit. And so Miss Gemmel, our fifth grade teacher, is playing in the band. She's a Griswold alum, played in the band before I got here, slightly before I got here. I'm old, but not that old. And Miss Kavanaugh, who is one of our substitutes for the school year, she was a student of mine, and so I am that old. Her and her sister will also be here tonight, helping out. Her sister is going to be a music teacher and just got her first job, so they are both Berlin alums. To Fletcher Steiner, playing the tuba back there, adding so much to the low section of our band, so we were very thankful. Fletcher played in the Griswold band as well, and was a student of mine too. And so this evening, I will have other staff members from Willard, Hubbard, and McGee here, and I want to just thank them publicly as well. Mrs. Ryan, Mr. Chef Leone, and Mrs. Bradshaw will be sitting in with the band this evening as well. So I thank you all. I appreciate all of your help, and I appreciate your being such a great audience today. We have one more piece, one more exciting, fun piece I hope you love, and that I will turn it over now to Morgan.
Mechanical Monsters by Randall D. Standard. The composer writes, Mechanical Monsters was born on my love for two things. B-rated monster movies from the 50s and 60s and teaching beginning bands. When writing for young bands, I always had to ask myself, would I have loved to play at that age? In this work, you will hear the sounds of metal being geared on top of a repeating, plodding groove that sounds like something gently its way across the dark countryside, getting closer to the unexpected, distant moments. Completely unaware of the havoc that is about to come to them, my younger self would relish this metal image. Peace, love, and music, and imminent destruction.